The government launches an immediate inquiry into child exploitation in Britain, despite not doing that 14 years in power. And this comes as Sir Keir Starmer is attacked over his handling of the Oldham grooming gang scandal when he was head of the Crown Prosecution Service, with Labour blocking
doing this stuff.
Keir Starmer's leadership of the Labour Party has become increasingly turbulent. A man once seen as a unifying force has become the party's greatest undoing, and it is impossible to ignore what is going on in the party. In recent weeks, several instances of mass council resignations hit the party. Then, you have damaging reports about his time as the director of the Public Prosecution Service. The issues are stacking up. Controversies are stacking up. Labour is grappling with internal chaos and external criticism that could significantly impact its political future.
Well, he's attacking the leadership of Britain. I mean, he's saying Britain's been terribly badly led, and that the grooming scandal, the mass rape scandal, which has resurfaced.
The Labour Party is dealing with internal chaos and external criticism, both within and outside the country. Ultimately, all these challenges can affect his political future, and not in a good way. Although we can't accurately predict the future, we can say that Starmer and the Labour are in for a very difficult time in the next few months. We are going to look at the issues that are behind this possible end to Starmer's short time as PM.
Disassemble the elite in this country and to return local democracy and local services back to local people where it belongs.
In Broxbourne, a staggering number of 20 councillors recently left the party and registered as independents. Collectively, they represent over 200 years of membership. Incidentally, these resignations were not impulsive. Instead, they were a planned response to Starmer's deviation from what many people call the party's traditional values. The move means Labour has lost overall control of Broxbourne Borough Council, which it gained in 2023, and those defecting include the council leader, Milan Radulovic, who had been a party member for 42 years of Labour membership.
Right, 20 councillors in Nottinghamshire have quit Labour, accusing the party under Sir Keir Starmer of abandoning traditional values.
In a statement, the councillors, who will now sit as part of a new Broxbourne Independence Party, said, "It is with a heavy heart that we can no longer be in a party that has abandoned traditional Labour values under Keir Starmer's leadership." They were particularly critical of the cut to the winter fuel allowance, the bus fare increase, and Labour's plans to scrap two-tier county and district councils, which are to be merged to create large unitary authorities, or what Starmer called super councils, gain traction. Even smaller parties like the Liberal Democrats and Greens are seeing growth.
The councillors argue that the move betrays core Labour principles of supporting the vulnerable. The two-child benefit cap. Now, the retention of that benefit cap has been a point of contention. Many in the party's left wing view this policy.
One councillor, Ross Bofinger, posted a picture of a cut-up Labour Party membership card on social media, alongside a statement that read, "I'm leaving the Labour Party because it has grown increasingly distant from ordinary people." The councillors claim about 100 grassroots Labour members in the area have also quit the party, and that 10 members of the group were blocked from standing as county council candidates in May's local elections, after openly criticising the winter fuel allowance cut. But it is just about Broxbourne. The discontent among Labour Party members is spreading across the UK, pointing at a bigger issue within the party. While lifelong Labour supporters start exiting the party, it shows that the party is facing a deeply rooted identity crisis. Frankly, the party's problems extend beyond mass resignations. The party's performance in local elections since they won the general elections in July last year has been catastrophic, to say the least.
I implore members opposite to defy the misleading leadership of the Leader of the Opposition and vote for a really important bill.
Statistics show that since July, Labour has lost 33 council seats while managing to win only 6, which represents a net loss of 27 seats. Alternatively, other parties, including the Conservatives and Reform UK, have gained traction. Even the less known ones, such as Greens and Liberal Democrats, have seen marginal growths, according to the data. These losses are particularly shocking, especially when you consider how the party won a landslide victory in the last general elections. Rather than capitalising on that momentum, the party seems to be losing members. Labour Party problems are not regional issues, but national, With the party losing support already for Starmer's missteps, things are about to take a dramatic turn for the worst.
Today, I will be speaking before I leave Rochdale to another political councillor around here who will urge for the Labour Party to vote for this amendment today. He's now an independent councillor. He has said that it is urgent that a national investigation takes place into this national scandal. But we heard last night from Jess Phillips, who said that Elon Musk's misinformation and the attacks on her had made her at risk, that her security measures had been improved. She also said that she was apoplectic at the slow response to implement child abuse inquiry recommendations. However, survivors around the country, and especially in Oldham, also in Greater Manchester, told me that they were also...
If you haven't already heard, then let's inform you about the Oldham grooming gang scandal. Now, the issue here is not about the scandal, but how Starmer and those working with him chose to handle it. The decision not to institute a panel of inquiry into this heinous crime by the UK government in London has been met with significant backlash.
Well, no, me neither. So why is this controversial?
Seen millions of people enter the UK in recent years, and some of them have backward, frankly, medieval attitudes to women. We're talking here about thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of vulnerable young girls being tortured and raped. I will not disguise or sanitize my language simply to ensure that some people are not offended.
Well, there were calls for him to be sacked today for saying that. You know what should be more controversial, in my view? That our safeguarding minister, Jess Phillips, is crying about how tough Elon Musk is making her life, but she hasn't spoken to the Pakistani rape gang victims in Oldham yet.
I haven't spoken to them. I'm very much hoping to do that and arranging that.
Just pick the phone up, can you? Anyway, that's the scandal. No inquiry, not even a phone call. Labour don't actually care, do they?
The Alexis J report with a set of very solid recommendations. So
are people jumping on the far-right bandwagon if they want a national independent inquiry?
I think those people need to explain why we need another review and inquiry.
We've spoken to a victim today who says she was sexually exploited as a teenager in Telford. Is she jumping on the far-right bandwagon?
I think that the J review was very clear that they will put institutions in place, child protection.
It's just sickening, isn't it? It's hard.
Now, Elon Musk has joined the conversation. Musk criticised Starmer's handling of the grooming gang scandal. His statement has reignited scrutiny of Starmer's time as chief prosecutor of the PPS. Musk accused Starmer of failing to address child exploitation scandals during his time at Child Prosecution Services, CPS. Several reports have revealed systematic failures of local authorities and law enforcement, and Starmer's CPS tenure coincided with these events. The report described the abuse as an epidemic. Although the CPS was responsible for approving serious charges, there were widespread delays and dismissal of cases. So, Musk's accusations have prompted calls for a fresh inquiry into the handling of these scandals. Among those leading these demands for inquiry are Conservative Party leader Kemi Bendonch and her Reform UK counterpart Nigel Farage. But Labour Party problems run deeper than Elon Musk.
On 5 o'clock on Boxing Day, whether she'd had a drink or not, I've no idea, that somehow our membership ticker was pre-programmed, you know, and of course we then showed the back end to a variety of journalists from leading newspapers like the Financial Times, etc., who said, no.
She's allowed to have views or concerns over it, without having to have necessarily
she accused me of being a fraudster, basically, and I don't like that.
Right.
You can call me what the hell you like, you know, and people do regularly, but you know, I've always been straight.
There are apparent fractions within the party. Dissatisfaction with Starmer's perceived lack of decisiveness and clear missteps are seen as the main reasons for these fractions. Since taking over a country and an economy hobbled by years of underinvestment and political instability, Starmer and his ministers have done little more than complain about how hard everything is. Instead of establishing a new direction for the UK to emerge from the torpor of austerity and the lingering damage caused by Brexit, the most notable political achievement of the Starmer administration so far has been to dramatically cut a benefits programme that helps the elderly heat their homes. In addition, he has also brought policies most people see as detrimental to the common interest. For instance, the tuition fee hike and the new employment bill introduced by Angela Rayner, as steps that go against everything the Labour Party has stood for since its inception. Speaking of the employment rights bill, it is expected to cause businesses an additional financial burden of nearly $5 billion. So, small businesses are expected to lay off workers. 100,000 jobs are at risk because of this decision. The contrast between this dourness and Starmer's fancy new eyewear is not so much unfortunate as dumb, and also self-inflicted. This disillusionment among the public is also echoed by councillors and constituents where anti-Starmer's sentiment has risen. And if you think this statement is mere wishful thinking, polls show that Starmer is the most unpopular Prime Minister in nearly half a century. After only 6 months in office, his approval ratings are lower than those of Margaret Thatcher at her lowest point, or Tony Blair during his decline. This rapid decline is alarming. Most Prime Ministers experience a gradual drop in popularity, but Starmer's ratings have nosedived at a record-setting rate. Labour risk losing its parliamentary majority if things continue at this rate. Starmer's leadership is being questioned not just by the public, but by Labour's members and councillors. This internal rebellion, coupled with mounting criticism, leaves the party in a precarious position. Do you think Starmer has made things worse in the UK? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.